Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my lure fishing only account. The goal of this account is to reach 100% in the lure fishing skill and get some trophies on the way. In the last episode, we managed to get to 45% lure fishing and went pike fishing with our new setup. This episode's goal is to make some money and start with the lure crafting skill. This is for all my YouTube members. Make sure to join. I had planned to make enough money for a second Kuori/Allberg setup, but because of the event and happy hours, we will most likely hit 50% before we can actually make enough money. Today we have two main goals: to get to 50% spin fishing and buy a new setup, but as I said, might not happen, so we have to do that in the next episode. But we do want to start with the lure crafting skill, because this is one of the more important skills if you really want to be successful when doing some lure fishing on lakes like Kuori Lake. And here we go, happy hour has been activated. So the first spot of this episode is at 65.26. We'll use retrieval speed 25 and for the lowest spike at 2.018. This is, by the way, not the best spot, and the next spot where we go to is way better. I just wanted to try this spot out to see if we could actually get a few nice Arctic grayling, but I don't know if it will work out. Let's see. And here is the first fish of this episode, and it is a teeny tiny grayling. But thanks to premium that we have for free, we get double EXP for 1 hour, and we definitely take every bit of EXP because we want to hit level 20 to unlock Volkhov River, because Volkhov is one of the best maps to have unlocked just because of the stores. Those stores have almost everything in stock every time, so no need to map hop, go look for bargains, because you know there is something in the stock at Volkhov at any time. Because the last spot was absolutely horrible, we have moved to 68.31. We'll still use speed 25, but this time for the lure we'll try spike at 2.016. And as you can see, we just got our first percentage of this episode. These percentages will come way easier than they should because of the happy hour that we have activated right now for the next 60 minutes. And thanks to that, we'll get through this episode very quickly. If you guys are new to the game and you don't know, then happy hour is 1 hour a day that you get when you have a premium account that will give you double EXP and a higher chance at getting any percentage in a skill that you're training. I myself try to play free to play as much as possible, but this is a free event, so everybody has free premium, so I did not pay to have this happy hour. May I interest you in liking the video? Look at that grayling, that looks absolutely beautiful. 600 grams, that is our new best grayling in this episode. I did go to the cafe before to see if there's any cafe orders we could fill up, and unfortunately there's zero. Somehow we have been getting so unlucky on Belaya with the cafe orders. Whenever I play the game, there's no cafe orders that I could fill up. I don't know why or how, but this is something that's been happening the whole time. And here we go, another brown trout and another percentage. Another decent fish on. Hopefully this one is another big brown trout. So we need to make around 1,600 silver again to buy another setup of the heavy S70XH and Sabre 60s reel. And we want to have two setups before we go back to Kuori, because otherwise we'll make almost no money. 3,000 EXP for that fish. That's just insane. And another nice brown trout, 657 grams. What a beauty. Look at that brown trout. That one actually looks pretty big. I think this is the biggest one of this episode. It looks pretty chunky. It's like a chub, like a chubby chub, but it's instead a chubby brown trout. 690 grams. That's a beautiful specimen. I'm very happy with that. Catching those in real life is a great moment. And another fish. Wow. We're just catching fish left and right now with this lure between these two rocks. So if you want to try this spot out, feel free. It definitely works, and it could be making you quite a nice chunk of cash. So far we mostly caught brown trout over here, but we also had a grayling. Here we go, a chub. That's a first, and it gave us some spin fishing percentage. That is a nice chub. We take those any time of the day. And when you look at that, we actually caught the fish we wanted to get at the first spot, an Arctic grayling, 331 grams. That's not a bad specimen, because Arctic grayling are worth a bit more than the regular grayling. Well, this is now turning into multi-species spot, because this is an asp, and this is not something you want to see on Belaya if you fish with this weak gear. And now we have a very nice grayling on. At the beginning I thought maybe we hit another asp because it was actually putting up quite a bit of a resistance, but then I realized that my brain is not braining and I had my drag all loose. But here you go, almost 1 kilo and some spin fishing percentage. We're just flying through the percentage. It's actually insane. It's unheard of on these free-to-play accounts. We're nearly at the half point mark at like 50%, and we're just getting fishing percentage every other fish. And this is another very nice grayling, which maybe gives a percentage. Actually no, but 1.4 kilos almost. Woo, that's a beast. I'm pretty sure this is another grayling because it's swimming so slowly, just going slowly left and right, and now kind of gave up. Yeah, we can see it's a grayling. I think at this spot in the morning hours you keep getting brown trout, but as it goes towards the evening you start catching more grayling and any other species every now and then, which is quite odd, but I kind of like it. You can come here in the morning, get some brown trout for a cafe order, or go over here in the evening time to get some grayling for your grayling cafe order. We're like half an hour in and we are almost at 46%. We almost have gotten a whole percentage in just like half an hour, and this grayling gave us 0.2%, which is just insane. Like any fish giving you more than 0.1%, that's just lucky. That is extremely lucky. And here we go, 1% completed. Actually 1.1, but yeah, you know what I mean. We got another fish that gave us 0.2%. That's just insane. That's bananas. I'm not used to this. I'm actually quite liking this, but at the same time I'm like, I'm not gonna make enough money to buy the whole setup, but we'll make the most out of this experience and get as much EXP and start doing some lure crafting. And if you're wondering why lure crafting is so important, it's because you want to have those handcrafted lures for lakes like Kuori Lake, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. With those lures, you can be so much more successful trolling on these lakes and making so much more money than you are with the store-bought lures. This is why you see, if you go to the leaderboards, people catching big fish over there with these handcrafted lures. And if we want to make any of those balsaminos, I think we need like 80 or 85% lure crafting, which will take us a lot of time and a lot of money. So we better get to the grind and start making more and more cash so we can craft those lures. Unfortunately, once again, there is no cafe order. We spent around 1 hour at the spots and made a whopping 163 silver, which is not bad at all. I'm actually very happy about the amount of money that we made. In the last episode, we actually managed to unlock the 3-way rig, and I think we should give it a shot just to see how well it works. So for that, let's switch our rig on the rod setup and use the Simmons Happy Hook Offset S2 with Heaven's Creek Maggot 4002. With the 3-way rig, we will start fishing at 72.85 on Winding Rivulet. The retrieval speed will be 30, and for the lure, as I said, Heaven's Creek Maggot 002. Over here, what we'll do is we'll do the stop and go with the 3-way rig, which means we'll reel in like a spoolful, stop the lure for like a second or two and keep reeling. And then on the bottom you can actually see that it says a chick step, and this is exactly what we'll do. We'll do the chick step. I'm gonna cast towards the bridge and also towards the left side to the other side of the bank and see which side actually works the best. Over here with this kind of setup, you should be able to get a trophy perch. And here we go, we have our first fish on. This is a perch. It's not the biggest one, but we finally completed this achievement of using a 3-way rig and catching a fish, which I'm super happy about. So now let's try to cast over here towards the perch tree that's in the water and see if we can catch anything good. Over here, the 3-way rig should do wonders for perch. I always like this spot a lot. At the first few episodes when we came here, we caught some fish over here on the dragonfly lure, mostly perch and a few chub for the cafe orders and for the market, and it was just so much fun. So hopefully we can actually snag a trophy or something close to the trophy over here with this setup as well. I really enjoy trying out new rigs that I haven't really fished with a lot, just to explore the game a bit more. And this is a nice perch, and it gave us some spin fishing percentage. That is super nice. Now we have something bigger on. This fish is actually pulling some drag, which is not something you usually see on Winding Rivulet while fishing with the 3-way rig, unless you go for the sander, which we might do a bit later on, just to see if we could go and catch one sander and hopefully not hook into a catfish. Even though catfish on Winding Rivulet are rare, they are still here, okay? This is not a trophy, but this is maybe like a kilo perch, I would say. It looks fairly huge. Yeah, 1.1 kilo. That is a lovely specimen. Catching one of those in real life would be absolutely insane. Let's see, can we catch one more fish right now? Please, game, give me one. Oh yes. I already thought maybe we'll reel in the lure all the way without having a bite, but we did get a bite in the middle of the river, which usually doesn't happen. So that was quite rare. Another 600 gram perch. Would you look at that? 46.5%. That is so nice to see. I am actually still a bit sad that perch give almost no money and almost no EXP. They are such an underrated fish. They are so much fun to catch. And by the way, this is my in-game chat. If you want to join, feel free. So I'm testing out the different lure, just the same one with the red color, and it seems to work pretty okay. It's not the best. Definitely use the Heaven's Creek Maggot 002. Do not use this bright red one, but we've actually managed to hook into a fish, which I'm fairly surprised about and actually happy about. This is not a half bad perch. We just, yeah, don't use this lure. It's too slow. Well, would you look at that? What do we have on now? It was was pulling drag and it's still kind of pulling drag. So it could be a very big perch, or maybe we finally hooked into a chub. Was that a chub? I saw something shiny, but that is not a chub. That's a pike. That is so unexpected. 1.2 kilo pike. Usually on winding, you don't get that much pike unless you fish in the pond. Then you get more pike, or back on the other side of the river where there's loads of snacks. 46.6%. We are just getting so much percentage over here fishing with the 3-way rig and catching perch only. Actually, sorry, I lied. We caught that one pike, but you know what I mean. Mostly perch only. So hear me out. This is going to sound maybe a bit silly, but I'm going to be on this side of the map where there is the deep pool, and I put on the Heaven's Creek maggot, the white version, and I'll just cast to the other side, try to drag and drop the lure on the bottom or near the bottom, and see if we can hook into Xander. My hopes are not high, but maybe we actually get lucky and we can hook into one. This is just one of the goals I want to complete right now on Winding Rivulet. This is not about money, this is not about experience, this is about fulfilling my own ideas and needs. Oh, a very decent fish on. Is this tiny Xander or a Volga Xander maybe? It's kind of hugging the bottom, or at least it's just chilling on one spot, so really want to see what kind of a fish it is. But now it is coming towards me, which is absolutely brilliant. I like that. It's putting up some resistance again, or maybe it's just stuck between the trees. That could actually happen over here. You can get your fish stuck somewhere. But this is none of those fish that we were expecting. This is actually a chub, and a fairly big one. 1.6 kilos almost. That is a beautiful specimen. Let's give it another shot. Finally, a Volga Xander. It took me so long to catch one of these. And this is a tiny fella. Is this another tiny Volga Xander? Let's see. No, it's not. It's a tiny chub. It's not the chubby one. And this gave us some spin fishing percentage. Wow. Well, this Volga Xander right now, this is something that we were looking for. This is a way better one. 433 grams. That is a beautiful, beautiful Volga Xander. Well, now we actually might have hooked into a real Xander. So this one is hugging the bottom like crazy. Let's see if we can actually pull it out, or will we lose the fish. And by the way, coming back to the Volga Xander, the Volga Xander trophy size starts from 1.4 kilos. So we were heaps off the trophy size, but we still caught a very nice specimen, because Volga Xander are quite of, let's say, a rare fish on Winding Rivulet. So catching any of them is always so much fun. But this fish, I don't know what that is. Hopefully it's a Xander, but it's kind of too slow. So it could be a good old kitty cat. The fish has finally given up. It's taken me so long to get it out, quite a few hours of in-game time, and I'm pretty sure this is a kitty cat. And let's see. Yes, it is. It is a teeny tiny kitty cat. It's probably like maybe 1.5 kilos, maybe 2 kilos. It doesn't look big at all, but it fought like hell. And this is one of the things in this game. Catfish. Oh, actually it's a 3.6 kilo catfish. I don't know why I said it's like 2 kilos. But anyways, my point is still valid. They fight like hell. Well, money-wise, not so much. 37 silver, but hey, all of the fishing percentage that we got, definitely worth it. Back to grind some money. We are back at the same spot where we were before, so I'm gonna use the same lure, same spot, same retrieval speed, and see what we can catch over here. And by the looks of it, we have caught a very nice Arctic grayling as our first fish, which also gave us some spin fishing percentage. You're gonna hear me say that so many times in this episode, and also me being baffled, because I'm like, wow, this tiny fish gave us some fishing percentage. And yeah, I'm gonna be surprised, and unfortunately you have to listen to me being surprised. Wow, fishing percentage from this fish that is worth like 30-70 XP. That's, yeah, insane. And this beauty is not gonna give us any fishing percentage, exactly as I thought. Hey, 47%. We are 3% away from this episode's goal. And would you look at that, it happened again. But one thing, guys, I think we'll do one more episode where we get 5% in one episode, and after that we'll start getting like 2.5% per episode, or maybe we'll do 2 episodes. So until 60%, and then we switch to 2.5% per episode, because it starts getting more and more hard to get any spin fishing percentage, especially if you keep losing fish like I do. This right here would be a perfect fish for a cafe order, but guess what there isn't? There isn't a cafe order. Inventory is looking, let's say, quite okay. Not the best, but could be worse. We just need to lock out with like a grayling trophy or a brown trout trophy, and then we'll make quite a lot of money, and we'll also have lots of fun. We want to get another trophy on our name. I think the next episode's goal should be to get a trophy, and also by the next rod set setup that we want to get. So we have 2 rod setups to fish on Kuori and actually be efficient. Because fishing with 1 rod setup on Kuori, it is not the best idea. But you know me, I like bad ideas. So we're gonna do some fishing later on Kuori with just 1 rod setup. Well, somebody ate their oats in the morning because look at that. This fish is strong. It's actually spooling me. This is the first fish that has spooled me on this river in the past like 4 hours. This is such a nice sight to see. I'm actually enjoying it. So I think this could be another grading or maybe a brown trout. It's moving quite rapidly, but on the same time it's kind of slow, so it's very hard for me to tell. But I think it should be a brown trout, so we'll see in a bit. Oh yeah, look at that chunky lad. This one is actually a super nice brown trout, 1.6 kilos. This is a pristine specimen. Took me like a few seconds. I cast my rod back in and we hooked into this nice grayling. I hope we get a few more fish like this and we should actually be making good cash this day. 112 silver. This is actually not that bad. I thought it was going to be way worse, but this is actually beautiful. We made a nice amount of money. We're getting closer to that 1,000 that we want to achieve. Or well, in reality, we'll want to get to 1,600 or even a bit extra because we need to buy a line and stuff. But you know what I mean. 1,000, it just looks nice. And this trout is going to help us on our way to getting 1,000 silver. You can just tell that this is a brown trout because it is the morning hours at this spot. And I'm just catching brown trout. No grayling, just brown trout. In the evening, brown trout and grayling, but mostly grayling. So beautiful spot. I actually really enjoy fishing over here. And it's fairly AFK because you don't really need to think. Just cast in your lure, watch a movie or do something else and reel in the fish. Now this special teeny tiny fish should get us to level 20. Let's see. It did not, so scrap that clip. Let's get to the next one. We missed out a level by 4 EXP. Oh, look at that fish. What a take. And this is a big grayling. And it took us like 2 seconds to reel it in. A 2 kilo grayling. That is nice. We got 2 extra skill points. We got spin fishing percentage and level 20. Wow, this was a special fish. Because now we have these 2 extra points. I'm just going to put them into a skill that could be useful for us, like fishing with the wobblers, and also putting another point into the 3-way rig, because we don't have the drop shot rig unlocked yet and we might have some fun with the 3-way rig. Eventually we want to take some skill points and put them into the lure crafting skill as well, but we only want to put those points into those lure crafting categories that are actually good lures. We don't want to waste them on every category because some of them, they really make no sense to put your points into. But let's see, this fish is another nice 1.3 kilo grayling and it gave us a spin fishing percentage. We're now halfway done. Come on fishy, don't get stuck behind a rock. Okay, this is kind of giving Fishing Planet vibes of the fish getting stuck behind a rock, but at least over here it doesn't fly over your head and then you don't lose the tension and lose the whole damn fish. Happy Hour is putting in the work and the hours. Another 0.2 percentage added to the spin fishing skill. 47.9%, 48% back-to-back fish. Awesome. This fish gave us 0.2% into the spin fishing. That's unheard of. I'm at this point right now where I actually really enjoy playing RF4 and this is just a blessing. Sitting behind my computer right now while it's raining outside, playing this game, catching some brown trout and making some plans for the weekend where I could go and catch some brown trout in real life. It's gonna be a long hike. I'm ready, I'm prepared. It's gonna be around 9 kilometers in the forest around like a swampy, rapidly river. And we're catching fish left and right in RF4, so hopefully it's gonna be the same in real life, which it probably won't be because it is the mayfly season and I'm gonna go out and try to fish with lures. 444 grams, that is a fun weight. Let's make some money. I filled in the grayling cafe order for 50 silver and sold the rest of our keep net for 166 silver, which means in total we made 216 silver. Cafe order came in clutch this time. I'm super happy. We finally had a nice cafe order. This is my first one in this episode so far and it's a big one. 979 grams. That is not a bad fish and also gave us some spin fishing percentage. I think in total we've caught like 3 or 4 of these fish on this account, so on Belaya they're fairly rare, but maybe I'm just not using the right lures to target them as well. 42 buckaroonies. I'm gonna buy this Spiker 4010 and see if we can get something with this lure on Kuori Lake. I had a message on Discord by one of the mods who said that you could actually catch some fish from the shore. Well, not from the shore, but from the island with this lure, so let's go and test it out. Maybe we'll get lucky and actually hook into a decent fish. Well, would you look at that? I guess we actually did hook into a decent fish. I'm super stoked about this one. This is actually pulling drag fairly nicely and hopefully this is not a lake trout but something different. Maybe a Kuori char. We'll have our first one. A nice orange colored char. That looks just beautiful. Or maybe it's something else, but we'll see. Most likely it is a lake trout, but it's not that bad fish. Lake lake trout, they do pay quite a lot. And over here right now on Kuori, I'm just about the experience, just to have some fun, not to make money. So I am just excited to see what kind of fish it is. But by the looks of it, it is slowly giving up and it's coming towards the surface. So we should be able to see the fish soon. Or maybe not, or yes. Oh, I lost all the tension in the line. That is not good. Gotta keep the tension up. Let's see. Oh, that is not a lake trout. That is a 7 trout. That's a big one. That's not a bad specimen. Look at that behemoth. 3.3 kilos. That is a beautiful specimen. 13,000 EXP. Happy hour gave us double EXP, so that's why we got so much EXP. Well, this kind of a fish is probably not what I had in mind. It is tiny and it's a perch. Yeah, you do not want to catch perch on Kuori Lake. So bite rate wasn't that good, but we had fun. We got this nice 7 trout and made 30 bucks. New spot alert. We're going to 71.37. We'll use retriever speed 30 and for the lure spiker 2018. The good old trusted lure that works on Belaya every time. Doesn't matter if the spot switch or anything happens, this lure is always a good lure to have. And we have our first fish on. Let's see, how big is this brown trout? It's a tiny one, 270 grams, but thanks to the happy hour, we're getting some EXP. We're almost 1/4 done with getting towards level 21, which just comes so quickly with the happy hour. I went through the cafe before and unfortunately there's no cafe orders for us. So this means we just need to catch behemoth after behemoth to make a nice chunk of cash. Hopefully we'll have a day where we get around 200 silver. That would be perfect, but it's probably going to be around more like 120 or so. But hey, we have a nice fish on, so let's see what kind of fish it is. Maybe it's a greening, maybe it's a brown trout. It's kind of slow, but it is a brown trout. That is unexpected. And this is not a bad one either. 850 grams, 1.5% to go for the episode's goal of 50%. Awesome. I have a question for you guys. Have you ever been brown trout fishing? And if you have, what is the biggest brown trout you have ever caught and which country? That is very important, okay? Because in some countries you get brown trout that doesn't grow super huge, and in other countries they grow absolutely massive. My personal best is from Estonia and it was 56%. Oh my god, this grading gave us spin fishing percentage. That's not okay. This is actually ridiculous. We keep catching these dinks and they give us spin fishing percentage, and this one gave me 0.2%. I don't know how that even works, because once we get any of the other fish over here that are big, like over a kilo brown trout or grayling, we get no spin fishing percentage, and then these small guys, they just give you percentage. This kind of shows that getting the spin fishing or any skill up, it's about numbers, not about the size. So if you keep getting like medium-sized fish but a lot of them, you have a higher chance at actually leveling up. What a beautiful Arctic grayling, and with this fish we reached 49%. Just 1 more percent to go. So before we hit that 1%, we get to that 50, I'm gonna stop and then we'll go do some lure crafting and then continue, hit our 50, and we'll see what can we do in the next episode. Time to make some money. Let's fill up the Arctic Grayling cafe order for 33 silver and sell the rest of our keep net for 105 silver, which means in total we made 138 silver. Absolutely amazing. I think I've consumed too many fun drinks today and I am too hyped about everything. But here we go, another brown trout, almost a 777 gram. We just missed it out by 1 gram and it gave us some spin fishing percentage. What a lucky fish in that sense. We have hooked into another big fish. This is one of the bigger fish we've caught in a very long time. So let's see what kind of a fish it is. I think it's another grayling or maybe a brown trout, but it's too slow for a brown trout. So most likely it is a grayling. Let's get it to the surface now. Oh, actually, no, never mind. It is a brown trout. 1.2 kilos almost, and there was nearly 0 resistance. And it has happened again. We lost another fish. Hey, there was no cafe order, but we still made 76 silver in like half an hour, which is pretty good. And when you look at that, we actually have hooked into a big fish, and this one is actually spooling us pretty good. So what I want to do over here on this map, I want to make sure that the fish will go to the left side instead of going to the right side, because on the right side I do believe we can get spooled, but on the left side there's so much island I can walk, so I'm most likely not getting spooled. But this one actually, it doesn't seem to be too bad. It's not like running like crazy, so it should take us a few minutes and we'll have the fish in our keep net. So I'll see you then. You know, this fish just reminds me of money signs, because this is like a 2 kilo brown trout and it's gonna be worth so much money. This is like half the amount that we made in the last half an hour pretty much. Beautiful fish. There you go, another tiny fish and some spin fishing percentage. Only 0.5% to go until our our episode's goal, 49.6. This fish is less than 200 grams and it gives 0.2% into the skill, so I think I should probably stop right now and try out the lure crafting before we hit the 50%, because as soon as we hit 50%, the episode is over. So yeah, hopefully this next fish won't give me any percentage. We can co-sell these and start lure crafting. I've decided to risk it, but since this is a big brown trout, we're probably not gonna get any spin fishing percentage. Yeah, I called it. Nice fish type. 114 silver. That is not bad at all. That is exactly what we needed. We're only a few hundred silver away now from the second setup. Free food. That's my favorite. So now that we're at the store, let's grab the cheapest treble hooks we can find. I'm actually going to buy quite a few of these because you can either destroy them when crafting lures or deattach them and use them again for crafting. So we'll probably go the cheapest route, which means we're gonna deattach these stingers every time we want to destroy the lures that we've crafted but don't want to keep. But if you have loads of cash, just destroy them with the stingers. Easy as that. So now let's go to the hardware store and buy a spoon mold, sandpaper and tin from the store. Crafting the lures themselves is fairly easy, so you choose the mold, you choose the hooks. If you want to attach the hooks when crafting, then you add the tin bar and sandpaper and just mate. And here we go. We have just unlocked another achievement. We crafted a lure. As you can see, the quality not the best and the lure itself not the best either, but this will help us level up our lure crafting skill. Eventually, we want to get to the point where we can craft the balsa minnows, and that's kind of the goal on this account, even though I think at the end we want to get to 100%. So I'll do these until I run out of the treble hooks. Here are all the spoons I created, so what I'll do is I click on the spoon, take the treble hook off, go back to the menu and repeat the same process with every single lure. And then after that, we'll just delete the lure bodies and we're good to go. We have a clean inventory. We are back at Belaya River, so we're gonna get the last 0.2% so we can hit the episode goal of 50%. And I think from now on, we'll also start lure crafting every single episode so we get a few percentage done, because I think we should do it on the same time, otherwise it will be lacking and fall behind too much. Oh, this is a beast. What a nice grayling. Mark my words, this job will give us some spin fishing percentage, hopefully even 0.2 so we hit the 50. Let's see. Oh, 0.1, almost at 50%. Any fish could get us to 50% now. And by any fish, I mean the very next fish. This grayling got us to 50%, and with this we unlocked a few new abilities like using the light conventional reel and low profile reels. We won't be using these reels anytime soon, but one thing that we do want to unlock and want to use fairly soon is the drop shot rig, and this is one of the best rigs in the game, at least in my opinion, to go for bottom feeding fish. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. By the way, YouTube thinks you might like this real life video from my other channel. Take care. Bye bye.